Alright, welcome everybody to the stream. Today we're going to be covering the New World major update that just dropped today that has some pretty sobering news when it comes to things. But first, I want to tell you guys who I am. I'm Commander A's, one of the moderators for R-New World game. R-New World game, yes. I'm also a former FPS gamer. I'm also a former semi-pro. Also host of the NWO show, as well as kind of the curator of all things New World. I can say that because our Discord hosts by far the largest collection of New World related art, concept art, videos you can't find on New World's YouTube anymore, etc. Done a exceptional job of gathering all of those, putting them in one spot. So if you guys want to check that out, feel free to follow the link. It's been posted in chat. I also want to introduce my co-host, Cloud. Cloud, say hi. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name's McLeod. I am an audio engineer and I'm also a content producer and developer. I've got a fairly good history in raid style MMOs, not really RPG MMOs, but raid style MMOs. I have moderated raid style MMOs, like raid style MMO groups and stuff like that. So I kind of know the mindset and the style of thinking that revolves around those sorts of playstyles and those sorts of people. I'm also a 10-year and counting veteran of the largest and most cutthroat MMO out there called EVE Online. And it's actually EVE Online where I met A's from, in actual fact.
Yes. And McLeod and I kind of ran into each other in EVE Online, but mostly through podcast that McLeod's the engineer of over on Talking Stations.
Yep. That's essentially a podcast. It's not exactly like, heart pumping kind of like, sort of adrenaline fueled kind of podcast kind of thing. It is very much a dissecting kind of introspective kind of podcast about tactics, about relationships, and about like the game and the metagame in general. So that's where my kind of analytical side of my brain kind of comes from.
So, first things first, because of the news that we received today about delay in the official launch for New World, first thing I want to say to you guys is we're not going anywhere. Our entire channel name is designed around New World and providing New World related content. So we are here for the long haul, and we realized that it just got a hell of a lot longer.
Just a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about UAs, but like I don't know, the people out there listening to this live or listening to this on the VOD or on YouTube kind of thing. But if you guys have suggestions maybe on like games that you might sort of want us to cover in the meantime or like play in the meantime, like, have at it kind of thing. But as far as this particular channel, like when New World comes around, this channel will be like dedicated to New World. But any suggestions on interesting kind of games in the meantime, just let us know. Other than that, do we want to actually my Chrome literally like decided to die on me, so I don't know what you actually have on the screen. But do we want to show the actual the press release, as it were?
Yes, so we got this press release on their website. This was posted across all of their social media, etc. For the people that are looking for it, and link in chat. effectively, what this lines up and says is that they felt that the game wasn't ready to launch, and instead of providing a game that wouldn't hit the mark for what they believed people wanted, they decided, hey, let's pull back. Let's push out to next year. They say in this article, spring 2021. I want to quick bring up. It's in another tab here. We pulled these images from Amazon's website today, which both show the same edited release date of not just spring 2021 and 2020, but we're talking about next year, May 25th. So, for those that don't know, that is adding 319 days from today. So that is a pretty substantial addition to the game in terms of development.
Yeah, dev time. They've got a little bit more room in terms of dev time now. I think, to get a few additional things done, like and refactor maybe some stuff that maybe the alpha testers weren't too enamored with. Let's put it that way.
So, I think one of the phrase that I stickied in one of the threads earlier today on Reddit is Miyamoto, one of the most prolific game designers out there for Nintendo, came out with this a long time ago, saying a rushed game is forever bad. Simply put, you're never going to get back from a bad release. There are some games that, okay, hey, it might have taken a while for it to catch on. There's a difference between it taking a while to catch on and the release being awful. And I think a good example of this is a game like No Man's Sky. Not New World, sorry. So No Man's Sky launched, and it completely missed the mark of what it was marketed as. So that created a huge issue where everybody, created a huge stigma around the game. So even though now the game has had the development time necessary to get where it needed to go, and now is actually a very good game, it won't be picked up by many people because that initial stigma will never go away. Even though, in my opinion, No Man's Sky is probably worth picking up, especially now that it's not a full-price game. But that said, a rushed game is forever bad. That's important kind of logic. It's also important to note that this isn't a small studio. This is effectively this is 100 plus people working on New World. And that's pretty substantial. That's not just pretty substantial. That's an incredible amount of time and effort. And I want to put this in terms of dollars, because developers aren't free, obviously. So when they say that they are adding 319 days, effectively, to their launch or to their expected launch, it means they're not going to pull in any money for almost another year, while putting out outlays for 100 plus staff, building that they're renting, and etc. So at bare minimum here, you're looking at almost $9.5 to $10 million in salaries. You got to add on benefits. You got to add on cost for the building, cost for any equipment that they expense to the company, etc. So by pushing this back, that's a huge amount of invested money for the amount of time that they're talking about. So For the people that wonder how I get this kind of number, I took about 70 grand as an average, because the studios in Orange County, but I feel like that's wrong. In California, and San Diego. So reasonably high cost of living, probably in the high 60s, low 70s. That's an average across the studio. So, you're going to have people that obviously make less than that, and you're going to have people that make far greater than that. So finding a good estimate number there. It's also including benefits, because you're going to have your health, your dental, and such. And it's probably lowballing that number.
You can also get reasonable estimates from things like GameIndustry.biz, for example.
Yeah, and I did Glassdoor a couple of things just to be sure that I was in the right ballpark. And so I'm not just pulling off the cuff what I think you should make in that area, because it'd be stupid to not look up that. Question from Twitch chat is a good one here. You think the studio director made the decision because he needs a high-quality game premiere at after the release of Crucible? So, yes, and yes, actually. So, I think that Crucible is a factor because obviously, Crucible didn't go so well back in alpha state, where they're going to re-examine and look at the core gameplay loop for it, develop a bunch of things. I also think that Amazon, so Amazon's the publisher of that game, not the actual developers of it. And I know that that's splitting hairs to 99% of people, but there is a distinction there, and that a different studio developed Crucible. Amazon just published it.
Yeah, so the distinction, because a lot of people kind of go, a lot of people flail on, say, EA, when a game is terrible, etc., and they go like, oh, EA is fucking terrible, etc., when EA is the publisher and not the developer, right? When a game is terrible because of its monetization, the way that it's locked its stuff out, locked its content away with paywalls and loot boxes and basically gambling, then that is something that a publisher is basically pushed onto a developer to say, you need to monetize the game in a way that creates a lot of money, because essentially that's the only way that you're going to make money back from the game, in order for us to basically keep you in the running, to keep publishing your stuff. When it's the actual content that's the issue, the depth, the breadth of the content, and the engagement factor of the content, that's very much on the developer and not the publisher.
Yeah. Now, so do I still think that it had a huge factor to play in the decision? I think so. But I also think that the impact itself wasn't necessarily just Crucible. I think that if there's one thing that Amazon Games has shown, is that they're not afraid to put the amount of time, effort, and work into making the game right the first time before it's released. And I think, and this is coming from somebody who, if you saw any of my YouTube channels or anything like that I've had in the past, I ripped EA a new one for years and years about releasing games that were not ready. I think I had probably 250 glitches on YouTube that, watching everything from guns drift across the floor in Battlefield to Anthem. Oh, God.
Oh, that game.
Buddies. Jesus. They didn't even try loading screens in 2020. Oh, guys, come on.
I've heard some bad things about it.
The little bit of the game that you do get to play between loading screens is really fun.
I think the funniest story I ever heard about Anthem was the fact that when they did the whole like the first like proper reveal of like Anthem, like it shocked so many people that people didn't realize, but actually the developers of Anthem were shocked too, because they were like, wait, what? We're at this point already? We're not at this point already. What are they talking about?
Yeah, that was. But I think the important thing here is like let's look at the timeline here. They started development of the game in 2015, I believe. They pushed for an alpha. They got a nice size alpha going. That had retention issues and had issues with the open world PvP, which they then brought down last year in July, and then went dark. And when I say they went dark, they went radio silence to the point where like people were doing like health checks on some of the devs, because it was like, we haven't heard from you guys in months, like not even a tweet, no pictures, no nothing, like what's going on? And then December they broke their silence, and January they launched their new alpha. From there, we're now in July, and now they're looking at, hey, we've got a game. They were close to a beta, and actually before this, we actually had a different release because we already pushed back once this year. They had the delay that they felt they needed for finishing the game due to COVID type situations. Obviously, your workflows are going to change around a bit. Everything going virtual is a bit of a challenge for IT groups and especially developers, because a lot of your kind of game development staff, specifically when it comes to strategizing how things work, have a lot of pickup meetings, and it's the opportunity to have the drive-by desk conversations that might jog your memory on certain things. And
so it's surprisingly crucial when it comes to sort of like, a creative development of a product. Not so much when you're talking about like, administrative stuff, or very technical, or like or sort of technical kind of situations, like, but when you're talking about like a creative industry, like that sort of that ability to basically bounce ideas off people very quickly and in a very efficient manner is actually really, really crucial.
So, and of course, if you have to switch over to Microsoft Teams meeting every time, have 20-second conversation, changes the way things work. Of course, you have your kids home with you, and all kids home with you, the wife home with you. You might have some challenges in getting as much work done as you would normally get done in the office. So it's a pretty prime example of how that delay kind of came into place. Now, from there they decided, hey, we've got this alpha, we've got feedback from this alpha on what people enjoyed and what they didn't, and they're gonna take that and they're gonna bring it back and they're gonna make some changes. Hey, this is what you want out of a developer, right? You want them to finish the game before they give it to you. You want it to be in the best state when it finally does release. Now, there's a lot of monkeying around with when that date is right now. Yeah, but ultimately, it rolls back to what I said earlier. A rushed game is forever bad. Release it when it's ready.
Yeah, I can't deny. I can't argue with that, dude. Like, I mean, as much as people say that, like, essentially, when that, when that phrase was mentioned, like it was a different time, different place. But like these days, with the capacity of, sort of influencers and streamers to basically determine whether your game like sinks or swims, like yeah, I think it's even more prevalent now, more so than previously. Like you have those those outliers, like No Man's Sky, right? And No Man's Sky took a lot of heat and a lot of basically pretty embarrassing memes about it.
And it took I can tell you from my perspective in No Man's Sky, like it took a lot of convincing to get me to try it again.
Yeah,
like that was not an easy sell, because it was like, well, that game launched and like universally hated.
and I'd hate to know what the developers like finances were like at that particular time, like
Yeah.
with all of the chargebacks and all of that kind of bullshit that was going on, with people basically going, this game is trash, etc., and refunding it on Steam. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have liked to have been the financial director of that studio at the time, but they pulled out the bag, but like they are still reeling from that bad launch even today.
On the topic of beta, or on the topic of not just beta but pre-orders, like there's an important thing to note, and this is some big news, and this is why don't cancel your pre-order. Like, I don't have my camera up, but this is why you do not cancel your pre-order, because they have dangled a carrot. This is a pretty big carrot. Basically what they say, we will be providing a special opportunity for a beta sign-up and pre-order customers, plus our alpha testers as a thank you, to play the full game of New World in its current state for a limited period of time starting on August 25th of this year. So, this is why you keep your pre-order. Now, I've got my pre-order. I'm very happy with it. Alpha, so, but that's one of those. I was happy with where they were, but they made decisions. You can live with those decisions if it means a better game is released.
Yep.
So, August 25th, they're probably going to give 1 week, 2 weeks worth of game to people. Hey, get in, give it a try, see how you like it. That's a pretty solid incentive to pre-order. Just saying. On top of that, it is actually a pretty good game. Also, I think that a studio should be rewarded for doing the right thing instead of just trying to take your money. I think they've been very good on that front in terms of, hey, let's release the best game. So I think they should be rewarded on that. Now, we've got a few people watching. I'll launch a poll. So, poll is launched. Exclamation point 2 and exclamation point 3. What the fuck is what madness is this crap?
I think it was like you have to use.
We can't. Like, that was just broken from the start. Like,
that was pretty broken.
wow, that was bad.
We apologise for this terrible use of polling. while Ace just gets that sorted. Now I don't know whether they've released anything about about the sort of like the playthrough or whatever that they're allowing sort of people to sort of essentially try out in in August, in like the 25th of August, right? I don't know whether that will be under NDA in any way, shape, or form, or whether we'll be able to stream it. Like, I don't know whether you've heard anything, Ayers, or whether there's anything official from from Amazon about it. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we get to stream that in some way, shape, or form. So people, we can kind of develop a bit more, and give you guys a bit more content about it. But fingers crossed.
So, poll's now opened. If you type !vote and the words yes or no, vote in the poll. Is the delay good? Is it bad? And I do actually like hearing what you guys have to say. Paganus91, it's not. No polls needed. All there is promises, and he talked like it's written in stone that the game is going to be good. To be fair, I have played it. There's that.
There is.
But I'm not everyone, so my version of what is good for me might not have been best for everyone, and I'm willing to say that, and I'm willing to when I'm wrong, to say, hey, one of the biggest leaks that kept coming out, or supposed leaks that kept coming out, is the lack of content. And if throwing the game into another 320 days worth of development is going to fix that, then
you're getting what you want.
Okay, yeah, fair. I think that's a solid.
I can't see how I can't see how 320 days of additional development time isn't going to, translate to more mid and end-game kind of content. The letter to, the letter that Amazon Games kind of came out with did specifically say about the fact that, people wanted more mid and end level content. So you can, the fact that one, they've acknowledged it, and two, they've added 320 days of dev time, I think is kind of like, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to basically say that I think a good portion of that 320 days is going to be developing mid and end game content.
Yeah. Now, do I also feel that? Do I also feel a little bit of pain in their decision? I feel some physical pain because, I'm the moderator for our New World game, which, oofta.
He's gonna have to deal with 320 more days of like basically putting out fires about leaks and shit now.
Yeah, so it's just it's just a pain. I was 2 weeks away from getting out of the NDA, and you guys see it. We're putting effort into a channel to build around the game. We're I said this in a previous episode. We're working on some new branding for the show, for the channel, and all that. We are all in on this game because we like it. This is gonna be a game that we play, and play pretty hard. We've got content plans. We've got storyboards. We've got all kinds of stuff pre-prepped, and our plan was to start throwing content, heavy amounts of content, the second the beta dropped, and there is from a content creator side of things, I can tell you there is some pain there from a person who enjoys video games and enjoys, being able to play them and have fun in them. Like, there's also some pain that, hey, we're not going to get to an end state for this for another year. But do I think the game is going to be better off for it? Yeah. I'm one of those people that I can separate those emotions. And I know some people are like, hey, we were lied to. They keep pushing this date back. God damn them. They're terrifyingly, awful. And I sympathize. I do. I really do.
Yeah.
But let's give the proposed leaks their time in the sun if there was a content issue, or if there was, let's say there's a major bug or something, they need the extra time to rewrite major things in. This gives them a pretty substantial amount of time, and especially with the size of the team that they have, it's going to be pretty big. The changes are going to be pretty big. A lot of people note the changes between the first alpha and the second alpha. That was a pretty vast difference. You went from open world, construct your own base, territorial capture, to a much more classical MMO with 50 on 50 instant sieges, siege equipment,
all sorts of stuff.
All kinds of different stuff. Sure, there's a lot of assets that are similar, but I mean, just think about the how big that got, like how big of a change that was between the two versions. And that's less time than from here to the new one, or from here to launch. If they can do that in that amount of time, just imagine what they can do in longer. 319 days from now, God willing, we won't get another delay. But 320 days from now, we'll be playing the game live on launch, and it'll be a good time.
I wanted to address maybe sort of something that a few people out there may be thinking as well, because a lot of people will be taking this sort of as something that's pretty hard to swallow. There is also a lot of people out there who have probably experienced something akin to this, akin to basically like shifting deadlines, etc., right? And the inevitable kind of feeling that this game is never going to come out because they keep on moving the goalposts as to when the actual when the game is going to be released, etc., right? A lot of game studios and stuff like that create MMOs and create sort of like these raid style sort of like large scale kind of multiplayer games have invariably been indie game developers, and indie game developers don't have huge capital to sink into a game. Generally, what they tend to do is they tend to rely on investors, and investors at some particular at a particular point want their money back, or they basically start essentially cannibalizing the studio to get money back. And so a lot of indie studios, when they've had shifting situations and shifting kind of release dates for various different things, end up not actually releasing a full product, or having an early adopter release kind of thing, which is basically still alpha / beta, but like they're working on it while people are playing it. And those invariably don't go too well because obviously it's not a full product. And when a studio is essentially trying to make money back just to fuel the continued development of a particular product. Like it doesn't go well because the both the product and the community suffers in that regard. You're not going to have the same thing with New World because it's Amazon, and we've discussed on this show before the capabilities and the deep pockets of Amazon.
Let's go into that for a second here. Earlier I talked about how much it costs for them to expand the release, and quoted a number around $9 to $10 million. And it's probably much higher than that if you include in office rental space, etc. Even the office, you still have to rent it, so that stuff to the landlord. Quick look up.
Live research here, right here, boys.
So I know what it was for last year, but
all right.
I'm getting blocked by anti-ad blocker.
Technology, boys and girls.
So, last year, Amazon brought in $30 billion in profit with a B. So, let me put this in perspective. I quoted $9 million for another year of development. Let's assume I'm wrong, and let's say it cost $30 million. Probably doesn't, but work with me. So 30 million with an M is less than what was that other number? 30 billion.
That's about 1,000.
So by a magnitude of 1,000. So putting it out there.
And that's a year,
$30
right?
million
So basically,
is a drop in the bucket in terms of making this happen.
I wanna make this really hyperbolic because it just pleases me so much, right? So that's 1 year, right? 30 billion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right, the damn. So if Amazon puts all of that into the development of Amazon games and New World, right? They won't, right? But let's just for shits and giggles, let's say that they do, right? That in and of itself, with the kind of numbers that we're working with here, basically means that Amazon Games can just sit there, not make a full product, but make the most insane product for release for 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm. You know, just putting that out there.
1 year.
That's
just off 1 year.
Yeah. The effective cost of the studio of AGS since its inception doesn't even equate to less than a month of profit for Amazon by a long shot. And that's since its inception. Was it 2013 that they started the studio?
Yeah, so it's just, like, you don't have to worry about investors. You don't have to worry about, like, you know, people having to degrade the product or degrade the game because they have to make profit out of it. They don't have to worry about the studio being cannibalized or people getting fired here, there, and everywhere because, you know, they haven't, you know, made a product up to a certain spec, or, you know, they haven't been able to prioritize this, that, and the other, or make, you know, or get it past a certain particular point, you know, for it to you know, hit the market at a certain point or make money. Like, it's none of those are an issue with Amazon Games. They have free reign to basically just make this game the best that they can make it. and Amazon have literally just kind of gone, well, is it not quite up to where you want it? No. Okay, have another year.
And I mean that's been seemingly their status quo of, hey, is the game ready? No, give it another year. Do what you need to get it done right. Hey, I mean that's, as much shit as I gave to EA, that is exactly what we want, or what we should have from a development studio. Get the game right before you launch it. Is what it is.
And to be fair, Robot Dog kind of says like at least they haven't spent money on marketing, kind of thing. I'm not sure whether that was. I mean, I'm not taking that as a sarcastic comment, like, because it's Amazon. They have marketing for days. They own Twitch, so they don't have to worry about spending money on marketing. They've got that in the bag.
Yeah. Well, and I know I've seen. I play a decent amount of mobile games on my phone as well, and all of the ads that popped up for like 2 or 3 months were world related. And hey, like, marketing isn't cheap, but again, when your parent company is raking in $30 billion a year, your 15, 20, $90 million marketing budget is pittance, compared to like the Amazon fulfillment center going, hey, we're gonna put up another 3 fulfillment centers for $3.4 billion. Like when in the grand scheme of things, and a lot of this particular line of thought is going to a specific individual who reached out to me today and said that they're going to cancel the game because Bezos is going to be pissed at large waste of money, and that it's just not worth the effort. And basically what I'm trying to get at is the interest on the money that they made last year is more than the studio cost. So just putting it out there, I just don't see how it even gets up to his level to give even the slightest fuck about. Like,
that's just from interest. That's just like to quote a meme, that's just free real estate.
Yeah, like, and I don't want to discount people's obvious emotion for the response here, because like I understand that side of it as well. Like, we were promised that, hey, the release date is going to be the 25th. We're going to get the game to play in part of the beta in 2 weeks, and we're all pumped for it. People took off work for it, and I get that. I get that real well. Like, to note that I'm one of those people that took time off. Off work, that I now have to go and explain to an assistant administrator that, by the way, I don't actually need that time off. Yeah.
It's kind of difficult to kind of go like, yeah, why? Because I thought you were planning a holiday or going somewhere for that. Like, well, it's kind of difficult to kind of just straight up go and say like, oh yeah, the place I was going to go and enjoy my time off at isn't going to exist. Like, how does HR look at that? Like, the fuck?
It is what it is.
I did want to say one thing actually. And this is an if. This is very much an if statement, right? If we do get to, if this playthrough that we, beta kind of and well, not beta testers, like, yeah, beta testers essentially. If this playthrough that's coming along on the 25th of August, it's something that isn't under NDA and we can stream, then I'm just gonna put it out there. Is like, anybody who hasn't had the opportunity to play in the alpha, or who doesn't have the opportunity to play in the beta because of pre-orders, I think as kind of a service to you guys, like we should basically do, if we can, that is, if we can do live streams of the game, like we should do a live stream and basically say, guys, where do you want to go in the game? What do you want to do? Like when we'll basically do it for you. You can basically play the game, you know, vicariously through us.
Yeah, 100%. If they let us, so there's this. They talk about the opportunity they're going to give people that are signed up for the beta and the pre-order, plus our alpha testers. They're going to give a chance to play the full game in its current state for a limited time starting August 25th. If they let us stream that, we will be live. And we will be letting you guys kind of play through us. Given it's going to be, hey, on request, obviously if one person says go to this side of the map versus go to this side of the map, it's going to be, okay, hey.
There's a poll for that.
Yeah. We'll poll. We've got tools for that, of which there's currently a poll running on whether or not the delay is good. So if you guys are wanting to vote in that poll, the directions are in chat there. Now, some things you should do to make sure that you know when we're live. You can hit the subscribe button if you want. You can hit the follow button if you want. Make sure you leave the bell on so that it sends you the notification. Or you can join our Discord. Two of those options are completely free. I know subbing costs money, so I'm not gonna push for that. But you can always join our Discord. We've got lively discussion in there today. But we've also got all the pictures and stuff.
It all depends on what you're watching this on. Like if you're watching this live, obviously, you can follow the channel for sure. That'll let you know when we're live. Obviously, being in the Discord, we'll let you know when we're live because we ping our Discord as well. You could lurk in the Discord, you can be active in chat, etc., etc. There's all those, obviously, all the art assets that are there. And obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'd be absolutely fantastic because then I'm just kind of wondering whether we'd ever simulcast to to Twitch and to YouTube. I don't know, but we'll definitely have YouTube content at some point.
I don't think we're allowed to. I think we have to have a 24-hour delay on our content because of the affiliate agreement.
You never know. We might actually do, we might do one or two YouTube only live streams.
We might, yeah.
So
that is always a thing. So, the best place to find any of our content is going to be on our Discord. We post everything there. Make sure everybody's got access to it. Our goal is to keep the community transparent on anything that's developing, and I think that it's important for people to know what's going on, why it's going on, and kind of the context surrounding it. So it's not just hey, I'm gonna pop open my mic and speak random nonsense for an hour or two. I want to actually bring some value to you. Do have a firm plan for when we can actually release some of this content. That we give you guys helpful tips and tricks and mechanic-specific stuff that will help you play the game. And of course, anytime we get a bombshell like today's, 320-day launch release delay, we will be live. We will cover it. We will maintain that as a standard. I would imagine that there probably won't be a ton of press releases for a little while, and I'm not not saying that people are gonna like fall away, but you might, be disinterested, or you might forget about it between them. So hitting that option to follow and know when we're going live is actually pretty nice. It's reminded me about a couple of games that I was following. Well, so
I was just thinking about our New World kind of content creator sort of like sort of brothers and stuff like that, like Redbird and Bordy, right?
oh god, I don't
They're
know how
really,
I don't know
really,
how they do
they're
it.
really good. They're really good and really, really strict at like making sure that they're every Sunday that they do like their New World to Go kind of podcast and live stream, right? And yeah, fair enough. It's like a half hour to an hour long kind of thing. So they do make it like nice and succinct. But like, oh man, I don't know how they're gonna bridge the gap. I don't know how they're gonna bridge like 320 days worth of stuff. Oh, I feel for them so bad.
Yeah,
But
I mean, we've already been going for 6 months in terms of material development, and I mean, yeah, we got another year to cover stuff. So like, there is definitely a fear of like,
like just slim pickings for content in terms of creating some new conversations about New World in the next 320 days. But this is where you guys can kind of come in and suggest some stuff, suggest maybe some games for us to play that are in the style. I know there's a lot of people who talk of various different games. Maybe we could look into those, stream some of those. But like, one of the things I would say is if we do get some like clarification on whether we can stream this thing on August 25th, we will let you know. We'll probably is like you'll back me on this. We'll probably do a short live stream to say that we like, if we can, then we will. Like, so if there's clarification that comes, then we will probably do a very short live stream to say that we'll be streaming this for you, and you can basically play the game vicariously through us on August 25th. So yeah, watch for that.
So last chance in the poll. Starting on. Isn't OnlyFans for porn?
For it's not for it's for adult content. It's for that kind of stuff. Because you just gotta you just got this show demonetized on YouTube. Thank you very much.
Not obviously not endorsing OnlyFans, but I think
called spicy content.
like, yes, serving up some spice tonight. So for the people,
yeah, spring is spring, but
you read the post. The final
it's
beta
like...
test is for spring 21, not released. So let me show you what I mean when I say spring 21, May 25th. That's the release date currently on false. Currently on the Amazon site is May 25th. That they are planning for release.
So if we go, say for example, like a month of beta, or maybe even 2 months. Like 2 months is probably too much. Like say a month and a half, right? That's like what, April?
So their beta stage is only going to be a month. Putting that out there.
So you could probably imagine that like beta is probably going to start like basically April 25th or around that kind of form, around that area, which means they'll say that beta will be starting at April, which means that I mean, there's not exactly when it comes to sort of creating dates for releases of various different things, like you could say spring and then basically go March 31st and then go, oh, we're pushing it from March 31st into April. You know,
So
not that much of a difference.
yeah. So I can
And
see
then,
I
and
can
then
see what they're
basically
saying.
April 25th.
Yeah. So I can see what they're saying, but they're not pushing their August 25th launch approaching. We've been screening it. So this is where the confusion's happening. This is their current launch date, or their prior launch date at this point, and they're moving that launch date to next spring, which next spring they'll be releasing May 25th, and as Cloud has pointed out, we'll see the beta start up a month before that. That's the kind of standard operating that they've been going under for the last couple of years. This isn't the first time that we've narrowed in on what we thought was going to be a beta. So,
yeah, because you think you basically break up the year into quarterlies, you know, so you have spring, summer, autumn, winter, right? And so you're gonna have January, February, March, and so if you say spring 2021, you can push that to March 31st, 2021, right? And if at that particular point you kind of just basically say like, you know, in order to get a really solid beta out, we're going to give an extra say 2-3 weeks, right? Which pushes you to April 25th, and so you can push the beta out April 25th for a month, and then that gets you to May 25th, where the main release is. So that's how I kind of see the timeline going. You have to allow for kind of like this discrepancy, this sort of a degree of movement.
Yeah, it also wouldn't
Obviously,
surprise me with the long duration extension here that we will probably see them drop back into more exclusive testing phase with industry whitelist and paid testing potentially.
Family, pretty much, right?
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they pulled that trigger as well. I feel like that would be something that would be pretty obvious, and I think we would again be looking at the January timeframe, like this last alpha, for a much larger scale testing prior to what would be.
Yeah.
So, aside from
But we
that,
do have some time to work on our, you know, on prettying and making really cool stuff for the show and for the channel. Obviously, we've sort of worked on it for the whole sort of talk show kind of side. We haven't really kind of worked on it in terms of the live play kind of side of things with the whole be right back screens and all that kind of stuff, right? But you know, that's to come. We've obviously got a little bit more time to work on that now. Aside from like if we do get to play it on August 25th, we're gonna have to you know, hurry ourselves up on that particular thing. But we've been kind of hurrying ourselves up on the fact that like we were going to be playing the beta in a few weeks anyway. So you know, things are turning at least on, you know, on development of the channel on our end anyway. But you know, obviously there's still a lot more to do that Amazon Games kind of want to get done for New World.
I gotta say, like, what life skills should we work on in these 9 months before we go no life via MMO?
Just be like, just say to your friends and family, just be like, look, you have 319 more days of me until I literally go dark and disappear from off the face of the earth for a while. Like, just you know, Spend the time wisely and make it count.
Yeah, and McLeod and I are obviously pretty excited about it still, despite the obvious disappointment that we don't get to share that experience with people here, basically. And I feel like people often tell me I'm the guy that like everybody goes to for optimism and stuff, and I'm about as optimistic as it gets. I'm happy that they're doing this, but I am like, there is a huge part of me that is more than a little disappointed. And it's not in the decision change the release date necessarily. It's just in changing that release date, it means that we don't get to have you guys experience everything that has effectively helped build our channel and our experience in the game and our drive for the like.
Well, there's a reason why we're excited to play it and excited to stream it, kind of thing. Like, it just sucks that we're not going to be able to do that for at least until August 25th, if not until spring / May 2021.
What am I not optimistic about?
Ooh,
what can I say that won't get us?
That's an interesting question.
Things that won't be incredibly divisive and or get us deep. Or cost me my job.
/ access to new.
Things I'm not optimistic about are the outcome of the 2020 elections for the U.S. presidency.
That was going to be things that was not going to get you fired from your job.
Yes. By saying that, they don't know which way I'm leaning.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. That's actually, well played. Well played, man.
Things that I'm not optimistic about. The incredibly large COVID-19 case count from the last week and showing multiple hotspots around the country at one time. Not particularly optimistic about that at all. I'm not optimistic that Anthem will ever return as a major AAA title in any capacity. I will forever never be optimistic that EA will ever get their shit together and do anything like what we were watching Amazon Games do. Because and this is where we can go full spice, because fuck EA.
Also, I am definitely not optimistic that by May 2021 that Star Citizen would be released. It definitely would not be released at that particular point.
I'm pretty sure that Star Citizen won't be released until after Cyberpunk 2077 is actually the right date.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? What else am I really not optimistic about?
I'm in mixed moods as to whether by May 2021, I'm not optimistic that we'll even have the full picture as to why Dr. Disrespect got banned. I didn't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, that one's
a mystery.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
full-on mystery.
It'll be like the first real modern day mystery, the Bermuda Triangle. It'll be up there. It'll be like, why was he banned? Nobody knows. Same as all those ships that got sunk near Bermuda. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Just disappeared.
So for those that know my chosen career, I'm an emergency manager. Going into hurricane season, I'm not optimistic about that. Let's see what else. There's so many things. But things I am optimistic about. Adding 320 days to development title that I felt was good is only going to make it that much better. And I mean,
considering how shit 2020 has been, 2021, I have not that much optimism about 2021. Maybe the only saving grace of it will be New World, but you never know.
yeah. Maybe they moved it to 2021 to be like, we don't want to associate our launch with 2020 at all. Like, this shit's getting bad. Let's just take a breather. We'll wait. Oh. Yeah. So, a couple of key things to leave off on here is that obviously we've got a launch date that we're reasonably certain is a thing. I'll pop over to our thing so I can show you guys. Pulled this off of Amazon just before the show. Show you my account information and such. But we do have a launch date on those titles on Amazon, which puts it May 25th for the launch, which we can expect a beta a month before that. And additionally, we have what's probably going to be a couple week test, or not just a test, but as a thank you. It's a thank you to our community, who will be providing a special opportunity for our beta sign-up and pre-order customer, plus our alpha testers. Thank you. To play the full game of New World in its current state for a limited period of time, starting on August 25th. So,
of this year.
So I think now that we have to actually say of this year, which come on. Rough day on that front. A real rough day.
It's alright. We'll do shots later on, dude.
Yeah. Also, so for those that are might not know that, or people might have joined since then, I'm one of the moderators for r-New World game. Try and keep a pretty fun attitude with, like, we're not stifling anybody's, like, if you have a view that is negative, we're not stifling it. But what our kind of primary thing is for that is that we're going to ask that you fight points and information, not don't make it personal, and we won't touch your post. If you call somebody out for being a terrible human being because how could they possibly think that this is a good idea, and they're just, corporate shill who makes absolutely nothing from this process, if anything, hurt by a delayed release of the game, it's a really raw deal for us. And yet somehow is still viewed as a super optimistic individual. Just putting it out there. Take it easy on each other. Understand that this isn't the kind of decision that they make lightly.
Don't by any chance describing yourself by any chance,
No. Not
moving
me.
on.
Yeah. It's been a day, man. It's been a day. We of course learned about this with the rest of the community, so like none of our mod staff was online. So that's why the that's why the post that is like all the way at the top of the subreddit right now is not from one of our mods, because we were not online. And it currently has 154 upvotes and 270 comments. So,
Yeah. Man.
you know, it is. I'm not going to put it on the stream because I haven't looked at a lot of the comments since the stream started. It was very civil before. I think it was going in
I
the
was
right
gonna say
direction.
like
But
I could imagine Reddit's being like on fucking fire, like dumpster fires from this sort of like in this like just in general. Like if you take anything that someone was like, you know, that someone was looking forward to, and you basically say like, oh yeah, it's gonna like we're adding an entire year to the game pretty much, or like close to a year to the game. Like you know, there will be there will be dumpster fires that are created and pushed into the Reddit, like into the subreddit of that game. Like, and I haven't checked it, but like I imagine at least one of the Reddits are probably going to be a bit dumpster fiery right now. Your one probably not more so because you guys moderate it pretty fucking well.
you know, I have a policy not to comment publicly on alternative choices in Reddit's subreddits.
Yeah, understandable.
You know, that said, best wishes to their moderator team.
I think we know which one has the better, but you know.
I appreciate the vote of confidence, and
I'm
you know,
purely independent right here. I am not a moderator on any of them.
yeah. I'd love to get them on for a Reddit v Reddit AMA, mod AMA for the two. There's an interesting history between the two subreddits. In that the reason for the New World game existing multiple folds. It's an interesting story. It's probably worth being told at some point. But not tonight. I don't want to get that spicy on this show. Been a little too chill on this show to end it with that much spice.
Join the Discord if you want to talk about spicy stuff going on between the Reddits.
Yeah,
how about that?
Yeah, we if we want to go full spice, join the Discord and we will talk your ear off with all of these kind of stories. We're pretty regularly in the Discord chatting with people.
That's a 50 on 50 I'd like to see.
That's a 50
Reddit versus Reddit New World battle.
Yeah. Maybe we can try and arrange something with Legion to allow that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's rough news today, guys. Rough news, but keep in mind it means the game's gonna launch in a better state, and it's gonna really gonna add a lot to the game. And I think that should be as much as it hurts. I want to leave with the point of it is good behavior that they are not wanting to take people's money prior to releasing a game that is, in their eyes and in the customer's eyes, worth them. And I think that kind of attitude towards game development should be rewarded, and the contrary, EA oh sorry, I was supposed to cough during the EA, wasn't I? Fuck EA. Should be negatively influenced by their god-awful decisions for years and years. At some point in time, we're going to get approached by EA, and they're going to be like, is there anything negative that you've ever said about us? And I'm going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
We've always been positive to
them. We have been just positive to everyone. And then they're going to pull this up and go, well, I mean, you deserved it. Like, you said not positive. That's positive endorsement of negative activity.
It's just how you view these things, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's that's EA for you. They will forever take your money and run to the bank and cash it and provide you no opportunity to refund, and then continually try and screw with you. I got a
I
story
mean,
about
that's
EA.
been a bit of a Nintendo kind of thing as well. The whole kind of like, no refunds.
You know what gets me? Switch games, like Nintendo Switch, are still full price, like 2 years later.
Jesus.
That shit would not fly on PC. Like, people would riot on Steam.
Oh, one of the other things actually that oddly enough we haven't discussed or we haven't actually covered yet is, releasing when other, very very huge games are releasing as well. So, one of the kind of things is if they were if for example New World were gonna or Amazon Games were gonna delay New World, say another 4 months or so, right? Rather than nearly 12. It's a case of if they genuinely believe that they could actually, say for example, fix or add in what they feel they are missing, and get it kind of squared away by the end of this year, that would put them under direct competition with Cyberpunk 2077. And we kind of mentioned Cyberpunk, sort of a couple of times today. But I mean, if you know anything about the game industry and competing against prolific game companies and things like Cyberpunk, you're not gonna get a word in edgeways with your potential kind of your potential customer base if you're releasing at the same time as Cyberpunk. It's just not going to happen. So even if Amazon Games thought that they could actually get this squared away by the end of this year, it would not be advisable in any way, shape or form to release November, December 2020. So the idea of potentially shifting that to 2021 and at some point in 2021 is probably a hell of a lot more advantageous and also a lot better for Amazon Games and for the release of New World than doing it either right as Cyberpunk releases or right after, or in the preceding month or a few months after Cyberpunk releases, because holy crap, fucking Cyberpunk, dude.
Yeah. And on top of that, I guess World of Warcraft has also got an expansion coming out this fall. So, thinking that might have played an impacting role as well. They were like, okay, hey, let's dive away from this time slot in the year and give ourselves enough time to make this work. It's, as I've said multiple times, it's very interesting news. It's very I've said this at least a dozen times at this point. It's painful because we don't get to share the game experiences in the game with you guys for another year now, with the exception of what I'm hoping that they will make as a public event, based on the size of the sheer volume of this, of this test in August. I'm hoping that they make that public and turn it around to say, hey, here's a good opportunity for people to go out, explore the game, see why they're willing to put in 320 more days of development, and then make their own decisions of, hey, do I want to keep following this? I know I've still got my pre-order. I've still, I actually just bought on the other day. I purchased one of the hoodies and one of the T-shirts on Amazon because yay swag. I still want them to bring back the mug from their promotional events.
Yeah, I don't think I could actually get that like in Europe at the moment. Hopefully that changes, but like, yeah, you guys getting all very patriotic with your New World stuff.
Now that said, so one of the questions that came up in chat here is if we're a new channel. So we are, I would still describe us as a very new channel. We are very recently affiliated. Which is that first step into, like, when you start out on Twitch, you got to put in a certain amount of effort to get to a certain point. They consider you an affiliate, and then once you go big, I guess you can be a partner. I don't think we're going to be anything other than an affiliate for quite a while, unless it explodes. I can say that some of the things that we are going to be working towards, we're coming up with some possible giveaways coming up.
I'd like to do that, yeah, for sure.
Those are going to be tied to community engagement. So following, subscribing, stuff like that all helps our channel grow, for one, but two, hitting that Amazon Prime subscribe for the one a month that you get helps chip in towards those. I'll give it away. We're doing pre-order give intent. I might even for U.S. people, because I can't ship it out of the country for a number of reasons. I might even do Amazon swag giveaways too.
Can you ship it to US bases in Europe? Like, can that work?
I can. I get a diplomatic tag, but I'm trying to think of.
I'm trying to think of a way. I'm just trying to think of a way to get swag to Europe about, like, never mind.
Yeah. So question from the audience: what do you think of this limited access thing they're going to do? I'm assuming that's in reference to the August 25th special opportunity for the beta sign-up and pre-order customers, plus our alpha testers. Play the full game of New World in its current state for a limited period of time starting August 25th. I think that it is a great idea because it turns around and says, we understand that you guys, that we promised you something. So we're going to give you what it was at this time so that you can see it, you can get your hands on it, and you can make better purchasing decisions from it. So let's say you have your pre-order, you get in, play it on that time, and you decide, hey, this isn't for me. You're still able to refund it. So I think that multiple times over, they have provided the community opportunities for input, opportunities to see and understand the end product, and be able to turn around and say, okay, here is their opportunity, or here is what we have. Do you want to buy it prior to actually charging you money? Like the entire alpha, no one was charged money for multiple alphas, and we're talking about thousands of individuals playing this game. Like, that is a substantial amount of free entertainment that they have provided between the multiple alphas at this point. That's a pretty cool thing for them to do. And on top of that, I'm really hoping that this August 25th thing, because of the size, I'm really hoping that they make it not an NDA thing. And like that's my sincere hope, because like if we got to go for 320 more days with minimal content to cover and do, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Well, that's why I said, like, you know, if you guys have any, you know, any suggestions for games that you want us to play in the meantime, like, definitely, you know, definitely let us know. Definitely say either in like stream, or, you know, say if you're watching this on, like, for example, YouTube, or if you're in Discord, just like let us know. Let us know like what kind of games, you know, in the interim that you'd want to watch us play.
Yeah.
And talk about and stuff, like, you know, because, you know, the best way of being able to dissect and be able to like really kind of, you know, pull apart a game is to understand its competition as well.
Exactly. So we also have a poll going that's been going for the duration of the show here almost. Type in !vote with a yes or a no following that. The question of the day is the delay good? I'll leave that up to you to define which way. And part of this is I'm also very curious on what you guys think, because I haven't done a whole lot of polling on the matter yet, but from the Reddit comments and stuff like that, the reaction seems a combination of frustrated that the release date has changed, but also there's measurement of happy that they're providing
they're not just
a better game.
They're not just and they're not just ignoring the you know, the feedback that they've been getting from alpha players as well.
320 days, man. Ooh.
We'll figure it out.
It's in the soul. On the upside, we can turn around to our graphic design guys and basically be like, they got a little bit more time.
Yeah, like, guys, you don't need to know like this. Like, just chill out. Like,
yeah.
You know, let the creative juices flow.
Yeah, we actually we've got a really cool one that I was just shown earlier today. That the individual who's developing it, for the life of me, I can't remember his name.
It's my good old my good buddy Night Marcher.
Yes. So he's developing our graphics and our alerts and stuff like that. And
we also
the goal.
Oh, sorry. No, carry on.
So he's actually doing it live on his stream too, which I thought was really cool.
That's the cool thing. Yeah.
So, for those that watch his stream, you'll see some of the content that he's developing live on our stream eventually. Because I'm really excited. The one that I saw earlier today, I don't think I can restream another Twitch channel from my Twitch channel.
No,
so
would.
I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to give you guys the link in the chat, because I think this guy deserves your follow. Keeping in mind that I'm eventually going to pay this guy, and is not applied anything to us, nor do we have an agreement in place that I know of to do any promotion for him. But click and watch that. It should be time linked right to the thing. It's real cool stuff that he's working on for us.
He's a cool dude as well. Like, he's pretty chill, and he like if you like Escape from Tarkov as well, he plays a bunch of Escape from Tarkov. But yeah, he's a cool dude. We also have a few other things kind of like going with a couple of other designers. One by a guy called Redline. So we've got a few things in the pipework. But the fact that Night Marcher does do his stuff like live on stream is really cool, and it's nice, really like cool interactive way of doing content and stuff. Especially doing sort of graphic and artwork, and yeah, we wanted to definitely give him a shout out, like for doing what he's doing, out of the goodness of his heart right now.
Oh yeah. And I'm obviously pumped for getting the new branding material out there. It's going to be really cool to see. Got a lot out there that in the works for this. Now that we've got a year to develop it, it'll be even better time. Yeah. So, lastly, I gotta pitch you guys the Discord one more time, because straight up, if I know I keep saying it over and over again, but like. A lot of people tell me, and I see this comment on Reddit all of the time. All of the freaking time. Oh, there's no information about the game, there's no pictures, there's no videos out there.
It'd be great if It'd be great if Amazon actually kind of released a bit, or released a bit about the game, or talked a bit about the game for us to know about it. Well, we fucking have it here.
Capture all the interviews, capture all the videos. We've got the videos from the original game, back when it was based in North America, that the developers would probably prefer that we forget that it exists. We got them. Got all the original concept art and stuff like that was released back in 2016. They would probably also wish that we didn't have. There's a number of different
that literally
things.
Don't exist.
Yes. And of course, we make sure anytime there's a new bit of information or anything like that, we let everyone know on the Discord. Not everything gets covered on the show. Some of our shows end up being about a news article or name it. We try and get some content for Twitch weekly at least. But seeing as we have 300 some days until launch, there's probably going to be a time in there when things get real dry. In terms of new stuff, but we're hopefully gonna I'm gonna start digging around and putting some heavy asks out there and see if we can get some of these. If Mine MMO can get answers to questions, I feel like we can send in some questions and and stream the answers. Maybe even invite a dev on.
That'd be cool.
God knows we know a few of them.
And I have experience in dealing with devs, like game devs, on a talk show as well. From Eve, in actual fact.
So got a lot of hopes. I'm not disturbed by the news today. I'm emotionally hurt, but I'll get over it when a better game is launched. Just for the love of God, Amazon, don't push it back again. Like, there's patience, and then there's, the last straw of patience being pulled. Either way, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for them to add a bunch to it. I think that they had a really good roadmap as is, and I think if they continue to follow a lot of the things that they're continuing pretty substantial effort into, then I think it's going to be a much better game. And I think that that's the best part of this, is that we get the best version of the game out of this compared to what it was, or what it is. And of course, on August 25th, hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be able to stream that because of I'm assuming because of the massive size, being able to keep the lid on something like that isn't going to happen. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Assassin's Creed lost like 30 minutes of gameplay to the wild. And
Yeah.
that shit spread like wildfire. Even I've got a copy. And to the Ubisoft developers that just heard that, you trade me a copy of the game, I'll give it back. Until then, in Discord after the show, if you want to watch that, I'll stream it on the channel in Discord.
I haven't actually seen it, so yeah, please do.
Yeah. You know, I gotta find a way to get it off my phone because I was traveling the last week here.
Right.
But I will definitely be.
I can just imagine you like literally sitting in a lay bar going, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Either way, it's been going an hour and 40 minutes. This is probably one of the longest episodes we've ever had. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you want to take the opportunity to support us via subscribing, following, hopping on the Discord, liking our channel,
however you want to do it,
YouTube, however you guys want to do it. We are grateful for the sheer size of the community that we've been able to develop over the years, or over years. You can tell that 2020 has been a bitch of a year, man.
When only half of a year feels like multiple years. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oof. Wow. Hopefully, the next half of 2020 isn't as shit as the first half has been. And by the time this comes out, we won't, be sequestered in our homes and quarantined for craziness and all that. So, that said, again, thank you guys for coming to the channel. We're gonna play a couple of videos on the outro, just to have a good time. And one of the videos we made ourselves. See if you can spot which one it is. It's probably the one with the lowest production quality, but that said, I think it's pretty cool. We're gonna rework it in the probably next 320 days, and add in a lot of footage from the IGN gameplay and the Mine MMO gameplay. To really kind of kick things off and get it going.
Some stuff from the playthrough on August 25th.
Yeah. So that said, we will see you guys in the new world. In apparently the new year. So take care, guys.
not about the couch anymore. It's not about the server multiplayer. It's all about this massive shared experience.
First thing we think about is community when we're building a game.
What if a game was built for Twitch? What would that mean? What would that look like?
We're going to try things that combine the cloud, that combine our new Lumberyard engine, that combine Twitch into brand new experiences.
Principally, it's this idea that you have a player, a broadcaster, and a viewer all sharing in a live synchronous experience.
We're going straight for the Twitch customer. We're inspired by the way they play. We're inspired by the way they share. And we want to make a product that's worthy of them.
What we found is our designers and our creative talent in the studios have come up with remarkably fascinating ideas. It comes down to experimentation.
Crucible is the last one standing, third-person shooter, in which 12 hunters enter an alien hostile world, but only one emerges victorious. Because the world itself is dangerous, players have to work together, but unlike a lot of team games, players can actually make or break alliances on the fly, so you have to kind of watch your back. Crucible also has a new type of player, a 13th player, who can broadcast and also directly impact the game by creating events. And it's not just a one-way street. Viewers can actually interact with the Game Master as well.
New World is a huge open-ended sandbox game set in our take on 17th century colonial America. In this version of the world, the supernatural is real.
Everything that they were afraid of, everything that they hoped for, that they wanted to believe in, that they wish wasn't true, all of that stuff is real. And there are nature spirits out in the woods, and horrible things hide in the shadows. We talk about, the players are our content. They build villages and farms and towns and forts.
We say carve your own destiny, because you can play the game as you want to be an explorer and go explore this big world. Cool, do that. You want to be a soldier and protect people? Do that. You want to be a farmer?
These permanent spaces that they carve out of kind of this cursed, monster-haunted, hostile wilderness. Whatever they do with it and in it and to one another is really up to them.
Breakaway is a mythological sport brawler where epic warriors from myth and legend team up and face off in fast action competition. And it's played in these mythological locations like El Dorado or Styx or Valhalla or Atlantis. Each of the warriors has unique buildables that they can lean into to fortify their strongholds or to go on these offensive drives. We're very hopeful about the competitive scene, but for now we just wanted to make a game that at its core was just really, really fun to play and really fun to watch.
Community-driven development is all about listening to what players want.
We're trying to build great games. Ultimately, customers are going to decide that. And our games, we're going to release them earlier, and we're going to get feedback.
We're going to integrate Twitch into our DNA as we design our games. And that opens up a whole bunch of doors that we haven't tried yet. From new features in games that you haven't seen to a whole new type of game that maybe hasn't been tried yet.
You have the cloud, you have Lumberyard, you have all these tools, you have Twitch. You're at the situation where, man, we need to invent our way through this because there's so much technology required to provide that type of social experience for that many people. Amazon's investing heavily where there's an opportunity to invent new ways for people to have these shared experiences.
A big part of that creative process is iteration. You want to be learning, and the best way to learn and iterate is in the context of the community, in the context of fans.
We're going to make games that are fun to play and fun to watch and fun to play with other people. And that's really the connective tissue, community first.
It is an eternal island of legend, a place of unimaginable beauty, and a growing evil, where the forces of death and life are in constant conflict. For centuries, many have come in search of its power. to fall to its corruption. Lured by the promise of power and immortality, the darkness will claim you.
Do you really want to live forever?